Welcome everybody to the Gold Rush podcast. I am your host, Javen Takar. If you do not know me, well, I kind of hope you would, because for the most part, you're probably either a family, a friend, or coming from Run Amok or from TikTok. But if you're not, I'm Javen Takar. This is the setup. I'm the host of the Run Amok podcast as well, formerly known as Beat the Press. That's what this is in the back. What's in front of me here? We've got the MacBook. We've got two microphones. This one is connected to my MacBook for the podcast. This is my first visual podcast, if you will. I've done YouTube videos before in the past. This is the first YouTube video on the Gold Rush podcast, so welcome. This is special. For Run Amok, I've done different YouTube videos versus the podcast. I haven't actually done a podcast in a while. It hasn't been a podcast for Run Amok. It was Beat the Press. So basically what the end goal here for this is just less editing. Hopefully I can do more with that. Let's talk about what else is here in the setup. We've got the GOAT, Jerry Rice. This is not just because it's Run Amok. He will always be on the desk here. I've got this trophy here. It is best duo. Me and my girlfriend, we won in high school, so that's always fun. In the back here, we've got the Lego Thor hammer, because I'm a big Lego fan. I'm a big Marvel fan. The blanket in the back, we've got the Beat the Press blanket. Shout out to Kevin and his mom. Shout out my girlfriend for making the logo. We've got the Raider curtains. My dad is a Raider fan. And then we've got this Niner flag. The top is actually Raiders, has house divided. So that's that. That's the setup here. Pretty basic. But let's just jump right into it. So you read the title. You know what you're getting into here. 49ers Cowboys. We're going to recap that a little bit. And then we are going to look ahead versus the Cleveland Browns in week 6. So 49ers Cowboys. The 49ers had an absolute shutout versus the Cowboys. They get the dub 42-10. And nobody expected this. Now, people might have expected the 49ers to win. I know, what was it? Pre-game, it was like 71% of America or something like that. But nobody expected it to be a 32-point victory. I mean, that's absurd. That's absurd. And Dallas, this is a big mark on them. If Niners, win or lose, people were going to have Niners as a top-ranked team in the NFL. Dallas, they really needed to at least look competitive this game to be taken seriously. And they just made a fool of themselves, frankly. So let's talk 49ers. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. Oh boy. Oh boy, is he relevant. 4 touchdowns, 252 yards, 17 for 24. Winning the betting MVP odds. That's insane. We have an MVP quarterback now, folks. Who would have thunk? We went from Jimmy G to Trey Lance to MVP quarterback. Oh boy, I'm excited. Does he stay there? Probably not, frankly, but he'll definitely be up there. In my opinion, CMC should be the NFL MVP. Didn't do much this game. 51 yards on the ground and 27 yards receiving. He, of course, got his touchdown. He beat Jerry Rice, actually, for the touchdown streak. Most games in a row with at least one touchdown for the 49ers. Hey, so got to respect him there. The Cowboys, their whole game plan was to stop CMC, and they hoped that would stop the 49ers offense. But, hey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, you're going to have a tough time stopping this offense. If you take out one, another's going to grow. I mean, it's just that simple. And it was a George Kittle game, folks. It was a George Kittle game. When Kittle gets one touchdown, yay, it's a big deal. When he gets multiple touchdowns, oh boy, the Niners should win the game. His first career game, I believe, with 3 touchdowns. And not only just 3 touchdowns on 3 catches. 3 receptions, 67 yards. What a game Kittle had. He was absolutely unguardable. Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. Ayuk had 4 catches, Deebo with 3. Ayuk had 58 yards, Deebo with 55. However, Deebo finished with more total yards as he had 30 on the ground. So we got to use him as a running back a little bit more there. And Juszczyk got the other touchdown from Brock Purdy. So he had 3 to Kittle, 1 to Juszczyk. And I actually really enjoy seeing Mr. Juicy Juice get involved a little bit more, just because the more the playmakers, the more better, frankly. Defensively, defense had, of course, a game. Fred Warner, he had himself a game to put himself into the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. Frankly, I don't know where he is in the betting odds exactly, but he definitely should be in the conversation. He had himself 8 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 interception. Also a forced fumble, which was a huge fumble for momentum. Just straight up stripped Tony Pollard clean. And so that was amazing. That was electric. Dre Greenlaw, I mean, this is the best linebacking group in the league. It's got to be. He had himself 5 tackles and a sack. Them boys are just all over the ball. It is just all gold helmets on the ball. It doesn't matter, frankly. Isaiah Oliver in the slot. Let's talk about that secondary a little bit, which people say it might be a weak spot, but listen, this team doesn't really have a weak spot. Isaiah Oliver, he's been holding his own in the slot. And now they had that one little motion touchdown to Kevontae Turpin. And I believe that was on Oliver. I'm not 100%, but that was it. I mean, that's all they gave up. So, for Oliver, I guess we can expect him to give up a play or two. But other than that, he's holding his own. And of course, with the elite pass rush and elite linebackers, that's easy to say. But yeah, the cornerbacks, this is what people have always been talking about. That's been the big question mark with Mooney Ward as cornerback 1 and Diamadou Lenoir as cornerback 2. Are they going to be able to hold up? And they indeed did. So I got to give him credit. Especially Diamadou Lenoir, who was kind of seen as a weak spot. People were going to attack him, but he's holding his own. He's doing his thing. He's getting his tackles as well. I mean, he's been one of my favorite players to watch on this team. We're just moving up the levels, I guess. We haven't actually talked about the defensive line. We'll get into more of that later, but let's highlight the guys that are here, and then our new fella coming in. We'll get into him a little bit later. But so Nick Bosa, he got himself half a sack, I believe. Let me double check on that. Nick Bosa, yeah. So he got himself half a sack. I believe he has 1.5 sacks now on the season, and we're 5 games in. It's a little concerning, but listen, the guy is getting double teamed. He's like the highest ranked PFF player, at least for defense, I'm sure. He's getting double team. He's getting triple team. Like, the whole focus is on him. And I mean, that's really been showing. Javon Hargrave has been a huge addition to the defensive line. Eric Armstead there clogging up that middle. I got to give a huge shout out to the guy, Javon Kinlaw. He's got like the most pressures for a defensive tackle in the league. He is doing his thing. For going into a contract year, the 49ers declined his 5th-year option. And he is balling. So I absolutely love seeing Kinlaw out there. I really never gave up hope on him. I was always hoping that he would ball out because he's just massive, and I would not want to see him anywhere else. So having Hargrave, Armstead, and Kinlaw, just being able to rotate them out, don't want to get any one of them too exhausted. And I'm sure those 3 big guys will come in clutch later on in the season against Philadelphia. That tush push, the brotherly shove, whatever they want to call it, having those 3 monsters in the middle has got to help out. So fingers crossed on that. So we got the defensive line, we got the linebackers, we got the secondary. Let's go into the safeties. Talanoa Hufanga, Tayshaun Gibson. You don't hear Gibson's name because they don't throw his way. Gibson Island, baby. He is doing, oh my gosh. He got himself an interception yesterday. Dak just kind of slung it, and Gibson, she's just ready to turn into a punt returner a little bit. Oh man. And he's getting older. He's kind of in the latter part of his career. He might retire a 49er, frankly. But I mean, he has just not lost a step. I really don't see him on the field unless he's getting interception. Like, they don't go his way. It's total lockdown. And then Hufanga, he's just continuing his all-pro season. He's just all over the ball. It's Hufanga, the linebackers. Everybody is to the ball. This team is playing with so much heart, so much passion. It's more than just a game. They shut out the Cowboys, and they're humble about it. They're still, hey, on to the next. It's a long season. You don't win the Super Bowl in week 5. You don't make the playoffs week 5. So they have to come out next game against Cleveland. I guess that's a perfect transition going into the Cleveland Browns week 6 performance. A quick shout out to Oren Burks as well. Sorry about that. Who had 5 tackles and 1 interception. And as a linebacker 3 times step into that Azeez Al-Shire spot. He has done his job. I got to give a huge shout out to him. Okay, now going to Cleveland. The 49ers are on the road. They're going to Cleveland to take on the Browns, who will be out Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson will be not playing. He's had a shoulder injury. He hasn't thrown the ball in like 2 weeks. PJ Walker will be the starting quarterback, I believe, instead of Dorian Thompson-Robinson, which a lot of who's like the preseason MVP, everybody was saying this and that, but apparently he's not doing that great. He didn't do that great against the Ravens. The Ravens, they shut out the Browns, I guess 2 weeks ago. The Browns have their bye week this week, 28-3. But the Browns, they've been so up and down. I mean, you look at their schedule. So they blew out the Bengals 24-3. And then the next week they go to the Steelers and they lose 22-26. And then they blow the Titans out of the water. And then they get blown out by the Ravens. And so now here with the Niners, technically for following the same routine, the Niners should get blown out. I don't think that's going to happen, of course, but it could be a game. I cannot take this team for granted. This defense is legit. Myles Garrett, he has no weakness. They really exploited Micah Parsons. They ran at him. He was able to get blocked by Trent Williams. Myles Garrett, if he lines up against Trent Williams, that's going to be an absolute battle. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a big Trent Williams fan. Myles Garrett could win some of those, for sure. If he lines up against Coleman Kivitz, that's very nerve-wracking, and we've got to send some help over there. We've got to get Juszczyk to go there and get a little chip blocks or this and that, just anything to slow him down, get him off his balance. But it could get nasty out there, frankly. Their defense is legit from all levels as well. So it's going to be a big test for Purdy. It's going to be a big test for Kittle. It's going to be a big test for everybody. I'm sure that we'll do our jobs, and CMC will hopefully feast and get to his 100-yard rushing games again. The big difference maker is going to be the 49ers defense versus the Browns offense, because let's face it, the Browns offense, especially with no Deshaun Watson, they haven't been the greatest. No Nick Chubb, really unfortunate. It sounded like some good news coming out from Cleveland though about him. It could have been a lot worse, so he got saved there a little bit, so very happy to hear that. We don't know if it'll be Kareem Hunt or Jerome Ford, I guess. I haven't really even heard Kareem Hunt's name. I don't even know if he's getting any carries. Last game against the Ravens, he had 5 carries. Jerome Ford had 9 carries. Pierre Strong had 5 carries. Or Ford had 9 carries. Sorry if I think I might have said 5. So, they're kind of running just a committee there, I guess. And so that could be interesting to watch. But, their offense, like Amari Cooper, he could eat. He lines up in the slot a little bit. I was hearing 49ers talk, Matt Mayoko and Greg Papa. They were talking about the game a little bit. And they were talking about how Cooper can line up in the slot. Elijah Moore, they can line up in the slot. He's their main slot guy. And, so they could be attacking Isaiah Oliver. So he has got to step his game up. He has to be prepared for that, because they very well could be attacking him. But I trust in the linebackers. Linebackers will do their job. Randy Gregory. He is going to make his debut, hopefully. I haven't heard that he won't be playing. He could be a huge addition to this team, and somebody that we're going to need, because as long as the 49ers offense can control the game, the Niners should win. Randy Gregory across from Nick Bosa is going to be nasty. Originally it was Dre Jackson, and he was one of my breakout candidates. He had 3 sacks against Pittsburgh, and I thought, this guy, he's got it. Unfortunately, he hasn't really shown much since then. So I'm sure he'll still be a guy to rotate in. Him, we got Clinton Farrell. I feel like there's another guy that I'm missing. And then, of course, Randy Gregory. So, Niners, they love their defensive line depth, and they've definitely got that this year. Randy Gregory is going to be huge, though. Greg Papa was saying he's missed more games than he's played, which is very concerning. But if there's any place for a defensive player and a defensive lineman, especially to restart their career, it's going to be the 49ers. You've got Chris Kocurek. He's just going to coach him up. Just listen, go out there and just play your game. I recall when we played the Cowboys, when Randy Gregory was there, he was getting flagged a ton, and that could be concerning. I really hope that all those problems just disappear. All of his drug issues, all of his flag issues, his off the field problems, they just disappear. And is that a stretch? Probably. But hey, a man can hope. A man can hope. Gregory is going to be a big addition, and hopefully with him going on one-on-ones and things like that, he's going to not get too focused on, because if you focus on him, then you've got the Nick Bosa, then you've got the Javon Hargrave, you got the Eric Armstead. So that he hopefully should be the least of anybody's worries, and so he can hopefully eat. I do expect him to have a sack, maybe multiple, maybe double digits. Oh, that could be nasty. I think that's going to be about it, frankly. Yeah, Niners dominate the Cowboys. They go to 5-0. They're looking to go 6-0. They're going to be rocking the red uniforms in Cleveland, so that's going to be interesting to see. I think that's pretty much about it, folks. Not much else to cover. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Going on a great season. The guys are humble. The guys are healthy. Aaron Banks was the only one that kind of got roughed and toughed against the Cowboys, but he should be back. It was a bicep or shoulder injury, something like that. And that's going to wrap up this episode, folks. Follow the X or the Twitter at the @GoldRush_pod. Subscribe to the YouTube if you're listening to this on Spotify. If you're watching this on YouTube, go subscribe to the Spotify. Because if the YouTube might not work out, this and that, probably can post Spotify exclusive episodes and vice versa. So, sorry, I got a text. I will catch y'all in the next one. Follow Run Amok as well. We're going to try to get more active on there. So it should just be at Run Amok Sports on the YouTube and then the TikTok as well. Follow the Gold Rush TikTok at the Gold Rush Pod. That's going to be it, folks. Let's go Niners. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.